So here we are, we're featuring the cost of living crisis, and as from today, so many of you will see an increase in your tax bills as the national insurance rise comes into effect.
It will rise by 1.25% at a time when households are already struggling with inflation at the highest level in 30 years and skyrocketing household bills.
Well, it's a manifesto-breaking move for the Conservatives, and it brings the tax burden to a 70-year high. It will go ahead despite pressure from the Tory benches for it to be scrapped.
Well, Boris Johnson said the rise would fund the so-called health and social care levy from next year, fuelling the biggest catch-up programme in the NHS's history.
Well, currently the number of people waiting for elective care in England alone is at £6 million, up from 4.4 million before the pandemic.
The Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, last night said that the money raised from the national insurance hike will make sure everyone can get the care and treatment that they need.
So how will that increase in national insurance affect you if you are a worker? Our reporter, Amelia Harper, is in St Albans to speak to a business owner about the challenges he faces. Amelia.
Good morning, Eamon and Isabel, and good morning to James Nash, and welcome to the show. James is a welding quality control inspector in the energy sector, and we're going to discuss shortly about what is happening for you with this rise in national insurance. Now, as you said, it is set to rise by 1.25 percentage points, and in real terms, that is a 1.25p in the pound. And ministers say they're going to use this extra revenue to fund the NHS health and social care. Now, James, how is this tax rise affecting you? You are self-employed. How's it affecting you?
Yeah, it's just ever-rising cost of living, really. So I'm a one-man limited company, self-employed, go to work on my own, drive into London daily, and the extra fuel costs, as the ULEZ charge as well, the extra tax on dividends, and the national insurance is just making things ever harder to go and do the daily work, really.
So it comes amid a whole cost of living crisis that is affecting you, me, absolutely everyone in the UK. You drive from Bedfordshire, which is even further north than we are here in Hertfordshire. We're sort of en route down to your working day in London here in St Albans. We're also seeing rise in the cost of fuel. What's happening for you on that front as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's so going into London daily, it's an extra £12.50 with the ULEZ. It's probably an extra £30 a week, extra fuel cost to fill the vehicle up to go to work. So it's £100 extra a week in itself. Just a one-man sort of company on a contract. It's sort of hindering the ability really to think big, maybe take on extra staff and extra contracts, and it's just a struggle really to keep a head above water for now.
So essentially you're saying that the costs, for example, the rise in national insurance, you've got that also with fuel, the ULEZ charge, energy bills going up. They've gone up this week on average by £700. Yeah. That is hindering your ability to really grow your company further and perhaps take on more staff.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So we're just sort of regrouping after COVID. It's sort of giving you a thought to, right, let's sort of push on now and maybe expand the business, take on extra staff. But it's just sort of holding us back with having that sort of ambition. With what is coming in is going out. So, so it's just making it ever harder to, sort of think bigger and try to expand the business, really.
Yes, to grow that business, exactly. And what's been the situation through COVID for you? Because you go and inspect projects, but a lot of them must have been shut down through the pandemic.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I secured a contract quite close to home, so do an awful lot of travelling. I was thinking I just want to be good with a bit of time with the family. And 4 weeks in, the project was shut down. So lucky enough, it restarted a few months later. But it's just been, now we're at the other side of COVID, hopefully. It's just ever harder to sort of keep a head above water.
Well, thank you so much, James, for talking to me about this. It is clear that this rise in national insurance today comes amid a whole host of costs for business people like yourself. National insurance is going to be hit for employers, employees and the self-employed. Now, the government says that they are going to try to tackle the cost of living crisis in July. They are raising the starting threshold from which you start paying national insurance by £3,000. However, for business people like James, until then, national insurance rising today is among a whole host of cost of living costs.
OK, Amelia Harper, thank you very much for that.
Live from St Albans.